Vicker's blocking his teammate. White flag this time. One to go. He's got to block two teammates to win it though. Bowman and Johnson. He drives way up high and takes the white flag. Johnson stayed bounds in the 48 car. He's got the push from Tony Stewart that's trying to keep Vickers to the high side. Vickers couldn't block them both. Side by side. 2 laps to go. Somebody's got to give. Get into turn 1.
Welcome to the Pit Stop, the weekly NASCAR podcast designed to help you get to know drivers better off the track. I'm your host, Desmond Johnson. Rate and subscribe to Pit Stop with Desmond Johnson on iTunes. The show is also available weekly at Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Podbean, and more. On today's show, he is the driver of the 88 Chevy Camaro for Hendricks Motorsports, Alex Bowman, stopping by the Pit Stop. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
So the name of the game here, primarily we ask the drivers from NASCAR questions about themselves in an attempt to get to know drivers better. Myself, speaking for myself, I'm getting to know a lot. I'm getting to know a lot about some of the younger drivers in particular with NASCAR, which is getting me more interested in sport itself. So I'm going to ask Alex here a few questions about himself so we can get to know him a little bit better. Alex, are you ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So starting off, I see that you are 27, meaning that you were born in the early 90s. I just recently read that one of my favorite television shows, The Wonder Years, will be receiving a reboot. What is your favorite television show of all time as a kid, and would you want it rebooted today?
Oh, wow. Man, to be honest with you, I can't even remember what my favorite show was as a kid. So many good shows that I've like binge watched lately, especially with quarantine and everything. That's like all I can think of. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I watched SpongeBob, and I'm pretty sure SpongeBob's still going.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's still going strong.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember I watched Full House. But,
well, they've kind of rebooted that already a little bit with Fuller House. Yeah,
it already got one. So
yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough question.
When I heard the news that they were rebooting The Wonder Years, I kind of felt a certain way about it because when you get attached to a TV show, especially something like that that's so specific, it's really hard to kind of picture what they would do if they tried to do it over again. So you kind of want them to not mess with it. But then I heard the premise of what they were going to do, and I was like, okay, they're bringing Fred Savage back as a director, and the creator of the original series is going to be on as consultant. So they're going to try to keep it the same way as it was before. But if I'm not mistaken, it'll be based in the South in the same time period, following a black family in Alabama, I believe is what I had read. So a different twist for sure on that. But I thought that was pretty interesting there. Alex Bowman, the driver of the 88 Chevy Camaro for Hendricks Motorsports, on with us on the Pit Stop. Alex, the NBA is scheduled to begin at the end of this month. As you know, Major League Baseball is in spring training right now, so they're moving closer. And of course, the NFL is trucking along as if there's nothing else going on, and they're not moving dates or anything as we tape this. What is your favorite sport to watch outside of NASCAR?
Yeah, that's a tough one. So it's a pretty common question, and I feel like I let people down when I answer it. I raced so much growing up that I didn't watch a whole lot of sports. So I never got attached to a team, whether it was football or basketball. I remember as a kid, a couple years that the U of A basketball team was pretty good. And my mom lived pretty close to U of A. So I remember seeing a lot of really excited people here and there as a kid around some basketball games. But really, I mean, I'm kind of the fair weather fan. I cheer for whatever team is easy to cheer for. I watch playoffs and I'll watch a Super Bowl, and I live in Charlotte. So, when the Panthers were good 4 years ago, or I think it was 4 or 5 years ago now.
Oh, keep twisting that knife, Alex.
Yeah. I was a Panthers fan then, but now I just cheer for whoever's easiest. So, like I said, I let a lot of people down when I say that, but I kind of live in my own little bubble and go to the racetrack and work on race cars and do my thing. So I'm not the best sports fan.
Did you play any sports like in high school or anything at all? Or was it strictly like once you knew you wanted to be a race car driver, it was kind of full steam ahead towards that goal?
Yeah, so I started racing quarter midgets, which are kind of like go-karts, when I was 7. And that quickly progressed from racing like at the local track to traveling a lot to race, which then turned into missing Fridays at school to be able to travel further to race. So I didn't really have any free time. Like the time that I was at school and in class, I was typically making up missed work from the previous week of missing a day or 2 days to go racing. So if I would have added sports to racing, I wouldn't have been able to keep up. Plus, I'm not very naturally talented at really anything other than driving a race car. So I kind of stuck to what I was good at.
At least you found out early. A lot of people don't find out at all. So at least you figured it out early, and it seems like it's all working out for you. Alex Bowman here with us on the pit stop. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes signed the largest deal in pro sports history this week, a 10-year deal potentially worth $503 million over the course of the deal. Alex, what would be the first thing you would buy if you were suddenly worth $500 million? If you woke up this morning and there was $503 million in your checking account?
Oh man. So I'm really into cars. I grew up obviously racing and working on cars and being into cars. And I just built a shop not too far from my house for kind of my projects and different race cars I have and stuff like that. So it would probably be something car related. And then it would probably turn into needing a bigger shop and buying or building a bigger shop and more equipment.
So that actually leads me into another question I had for you. Because I'd heard a lot of times with race drivers that sometimes they may or may not have a lead foot when it comes to driving off the track. How many speeding tickets have you gotten since becoming a full-time NASCAR driver?
I don't think I've had a speeding ticket since I started racing full-time in the Cup Series. Knock on wood. I can't say that I've had a ticket. Before that, I had a few. Maybe I think I've had 2 speeding tickets, maybe 3.
That's not bad.
But yeah, nothing crazy. No big ones.
What's the fastest you've been clocked?
I don't know. I think the fastest one I had was like a speed trap in Texas. So I was driving from Daytona to Tucson, Arizona, long trip. Got in the middle of Texas, kind of middle of the night, and it went from a 70 to a 55.
Oh, no.
And I just missed the sign, and I was the only car on the road. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I think I got like 70 in a 55 or 75 in a 55, something like that.
That's not too bad. I mean, in some places it is, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, if it was Virginia, I would have been in trouble, but Texas, I think I'm all right.
Have you ever gotten out of a ticket based off of someone recognizing you or knowing who you were?
Yes.
Nice.
Definitely. I think the thing I get out of more often than not is all my cars have pretty dark window tint.
Yeah.
And I've been pulled over 3 times for window tint. And I've gotten out of the ticket twice.
Nice.
One of the times the officer was like a huge race fan. And he made me get out of the car and take a selfie with him in the middle of the road. And like he was pretty pumped up. So that was funny. But yeah, I've definitely gotten out of that for sure.
That's pretty awesome. Alex Bowman, the driver of the 88 Chevy Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports, joining us on the pit stop this week. Alex, this is a very important question that has stumped many drivers that I've asked this season on the pit stop. I have 4 items. One has to go forever: pizza, tacos, burgers, wings. Which one gets kicked to the curb forever for Alex?
Wings. I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really? Okay,
I'm
we got
not.
to talk here. So why the wings?
Well, first, tacos are like the most important thing in the world. Pizza is close behind. So it left me with burgers and wings. And I like burgers, and wings are okay here and there, but I don't like things that are messy. I kind of have a little bit of OCD about things being clean and keeping things clean. So the mess that I tend to make with wings, I'm not a big fan of. And then my hands get all sticky, and just,
Wait
I could do without it.
wait a minute, Alex, because your number one pick was tacos. So if you don't like messy things, it seems like tacos would be a contradiction, right?
You can eat a taco much more cleanly, I guess, the way to put it, than you can eat a wing.
It's a matter of what the heart wants is what the heart wants, right?
Yep.
So you're the first one to pick wings. Like actually, like everyone has picked wings as like the number one. You're the first one to say wings has got to go. So
Has anybody said tacos?
no,
Okay,
no
good.
one.
I'm just making sure because that would be just wrong.
I think I want to say Ty Dillon picked. I think tacos were high up for him too, but pretty much everyone picked wings, and then they go into this whole thing of what kind of wings they like, the sauces, dry rub, like grilled, like everyone had their own kind of special wings thing. You're the first one to say, you know what, wings, peace, I can do without them. So
Yeah.
just separating yourself from the pack there. Alex, I ask this to every driver as well. Before you go out there on a Saturday or Sunday and race 300, 400, 500 miles, what type of music are you listening to get you hyped?
I'm really into rock music and pretty heavy music for the most part. I really like I Prevail. I've become pretty good friends with Aaron, the drummer in Under Oath. So big Under Oath fan. But I feel like it's kind of always changing. You know, whoever's coming out with new stuff and releasing new music. There's a lot of good stuff kind of constantly flowing out. I like big fan of I Prevail, and I really like Under Oath. I've become really good friends with Aaron, the drummer in Under Oath, but it really kind of depends. I feel like a lot of people are releasing new music that's been really good. So it's kind of, I feel like I cycle through a lot of stuff, but definitely rock music.
What's your favorite concert you've ever attended?
That's a good question. I feel like Under Oath put on a really good show. When I saw them,
Now, are they kind of like like heavy, like dark rock, or are they more kind of alternative, more poppy? Like what type of rock are they?
so I guess they'd be classified as like post-hardcore, but they're kind of in between. They're not super heavy. You know, they're just really good dudes, and I've become really good friends with them. So that's probably what makes seeing them really cool. But been to a lot of cool shows. There's some really cool venues here in Charlotte, so it's always cool to try to get out to see some live stuff.
Yeah, and I look forward to us getting back to being able to do that. Hopefully, sometime here in the near future. You kind of take things for granted, you know, until they get taken away. So, looking forward to the day where we can do that again. And then finally, Alex, being in the world you're in, obviously you're going to rub shoulders with people that are celebrities themselves, based on the events you're going to or them coming to see you guys at the track. If you could meet any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Oh man, I've got to meet some pretty cool people.
Anybody?
Yeah, that's a good question. I got to spend some time with Peyton Manning a couple of years ago at the Daytona 500. That was really neat.
Oh, cool.
Man, just you put me on the spot there.
I think Rihanna was the leading vote getter from the drivers we've had so far this season.
Really?
Yeah, because then that would set off a conversation of, well, what would you do if you saw her? You know, that kind of thing. So those answers varied, but I think she was the leader in the clubhouse to date so far.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know. I feel like I don't really get super starstruck around people because I've kind of met like everybody that I grew up having as a hero was like a race car driver, and most of them I've been able to meet and spend a lot of time around. Obviously, you know, I was a huge Jeff Gordon fan growing up, and now I drive for him kind of, he's got a lot to do with Hendrick Motorsports. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't really have a celebrity that I really want to meet. Most of kind of the heroes that I had growing up were race car drivers, and I got the opportunity to meet them and spend a lot of time with them. And I feel like I've met a lot of really cool people through the sport. There's typically quite a few celebrities at like drivers meetings and stuff like that we get to meet and talk to a little bit. I don't know. I will say I'm a big fan of Yellowstone and the show, and I got to meet the guy that plays Rip in the show at one of the races. So that was pretty neat.
All right, so there you have it. Alex Bowman, the driver of the 88 Chevy Camaro for NASCAR, Hendricks Motorsports, joining us here today on the Pit Stop. Thank you so much, Alex, for doing this with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, and good luck for the rest of the season on the NASCAR circuit.
Thanks.